Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're here in Strasbourg, France, one of the prettiest cities you can come to in France. I know I say that a lot, but I cannot stress enough how gorgeous this city is, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site city as well. And even the city that has gorgeous views like this that you want to definitely go do and see, there's some don'ts you have as well. And so today what we have for you are the don'ts for tourists when they come here to Strasbourg. And I gotta say, the first don't I have for you is don't forget to stretch out your neck before you come here, because you're going to see so much gorgeous architecture when you're here. Whether you're glancing up to see the facade of the cathedral or some of the other great churches that are here, going to see the Astronomical Clock, going to see Petit France, walk around the Grande Ile when you're here. There's so much to see and do just in the historic center part that you're just going to be going and looking. Oh, more beautiful architecture, more beautiful things to see. Oh, look at the stonework there. Oh, look at the markers there. There's just so much to see when you are here that really is. It's always looking around because you feel like you're going to miss something. I'm here with some friends of mine here on this visit, and we were by the cathedral and enjoying everything there, you know, right by the royal palace and things like that. And they're like, oh, this is all to see. I'm like, no, come with me. We have to go visit Petit France, and we have to visit more of the Grande Ile and go to the covered bridge and see all those things and go walk across the dam on the top. I'm like, wait, there's more to see? I'm like, oh yes, there is much more to see. So just make sure you're all stretched out before you come, because you'll see some fantastic houses and some fantastic buildings and fantastic churches and fantastic museums when you are here. Now, the second don't I have for you is don't worry if you're not sure if you're in Germany or France, because when you come here, you'll definitely notice that it's not quite as French as you remember other parts of France being, because Strasbourg has gone between France and Germany a few times over the years, and you really do see that influence in the architecture and the drinks, and especially in the food. When you have the Backofen, which is like 3 different kinds of meats and a casserole with some potatoes on top, it's really, really good. Or you have Spätzle, the noodles that are here. Oh my goodness, the sausages and the sauerkraut, the traditional dishes of here make you feel like, wait, am I still in Germany? I thought I was in France. You do have a different vibe here. That also means the drinks as well, like beer is a very popular thing here. Like half the beer in France is brewed in this region, so you can have some good drinks and fun when you are here, but it does give you that like, am I in Germany kind of feel? For example, if you go to the Maison Commerciale, which you'll see right outside the cathedral, Commerciale, that does not sound like it's French. No, it sounds like it's German. And you will see that around there. You go to the Windstube, like the pubs and bars and kind of restaurants things here, it definitely has a German vibe. And you will hear, as a tourist, you'll hear French, and you also hear a lot of German as well around, and they'll have a lot of stuff that's in French and in German. So that's one of the things you should know. So don't worry, you're not in Germany, you're technically in France, but you will definitely feel a lot of German influence, especially if you go to the Neustadt, the new part of the city, where the architecture there, you will definitely feel the imperial German kind of flair of architecture in that part of town. And when you're walking around, my next don't for you is when you're taking in all these gorgeous sights, don't forget to stop and have a drink. Remember, I told you, beer's really good here. Well, the beer you want to have is you want to have any of the local beers, but have it at Picon, where they put a shot of Picon in your beer. It makes it a little bit sweeter, but it is fantastic, something you should definitely have here. And if you're looking for the wines, like Jocelyn, she's more of a wine person, I'm a beer person. The white wines in this region are fantastic. But the thing is, what I like about sitting and chilling out and having a drink here in Strasbourg is that there are a lot of little squares and places you can go to sit and relax and just hang out. I mean, you can walk on the river. You don't have to have a drink there, but you can sit along the river and take in great architecture like this and just relax, which is really a fantastic thing about here. But I always prefer having it with a picon, just letting you know. Now, my next don't for you is don't pass up going inside the cathedral when you come here. The Strasbourg Cathedral, the Notre Dame Cathedral. When you're here, I mean, you're gonna see a lot of really gorgeous churches here in Strasbourg, and maybe you'll get a little burned out of the churches, but this one you really have to go into. The stained glass windows are fantastic. The rose windows fantastic. The astronomical clock inside, I mean, it's the forerunner of a computer. It is phenomenal to see. And when you go inside, you're gonna just fall in love. But if you don't get inside, looking at the stonework on the outside of it, you will be just amazed the amazing work and masonry and artists that worked and built this fantastic cathedral over like 400 years. It is definitely a must-see when you are here, so don't skip it, okay? Now, my next don't for you actually has to deal with that astronomical clock inside. Don't think that it's going to work for you any time of the day. It only goes off at 12:30, and you have to buy tickets to go see it. Now, if you have the Strasbourg pass, you can go in. The doors to go in to watch the astronomical clock go off, they open at 11:30, so you can buy your tickets in the cathedral before that. but you can also wait and get it then. Just depends how busy it is. I would say if you already booked your tickets, you don't need to be there when the doors open at 11:30. You can wait until 12, because at 12 they show a really good movie actually that explains how it was made, and you start to understand, wow, they factored in the slight ellipse of the orbit of the Earth around the sun to make this thing work. It's fantastic to see and understand how important that astronomical clock is. And then at 12:30 it goes off, and you'll see the rooster crowing, and you'll see the apostles going around, and Jesus blesses them and things like that. It is really an impressive feat of engineering and art all at the same time. But I'll tell you, like, if you want to go to the cathedral, okay, it's open in the morning till about 11:15, then it closes, and then they have that time for the people that pay to go to the astronomical clock. And then after the astronomical clock, and then like 1 o'clock, 12:45, it opens up again for tourists, because you can go in for free to visit the church, but if you want to see the astronomical thing, you have to go at that special time. And the tickets weren't that bad. They're like €3 for an adult, so it's nothing too bad. I will say though, it does not go off on Sundays, and it does not go off on holidays. So if you're going to be coming for a weekend, make sure you could do it on Saturday to see it go. Now my next stone for you is something that's really going to kind of come up when you're walking around the cathedral, and that is, don't get frustrated with all the tour groups that come through. I mean, think about it. We're on the German-France border, right? German-French border. So you get a lot of French tour groups that come through, and you get a lot of German tour groups that come through, and Strasbourg is famous. So you got a lot of international groups coming through. So you're gonna have lots and lots of tour groups, and they will run you over, because those tour guides, they don't care about you. They only care about their group. So make sure you're ready for that. So don't let them kind of push you out of the way. Stand your ground and realize, like, look, you're just as important as that tour group here in Strasbourg, okay? Because you're probably spending the night, and those people are going to go get on a boat and leave. So do realize that that might happen, and it might get a bit frustrating. Now, I realize I've talked a lot about the churches here and the cathedral and just the architecture in general. It's gorgeous. Another don't I have for you is don't skip out on the museums, okay? You can go to the Royal Palace. There's 3 museums that are there you can check out. You can go to the Art Museum that's here. There's a lot of museums around, but for me, it's the Musée Alsace, the Alsace Museum, the regional folk museum here in Strasbourg is gorgeous, and it was actually started by 3 guys back in the day, and they started to save Alsace culture because it kept switching between Germany and France and Germany and France, and they wanted to keep it. And when you go inside, you get a great history lesson about the area, about Strasbourg, and honestly, it's one of the best folk museums you can come see in Europe, so don't skip out on that. Now, my next don't for you is don't be anti-Christmas. Look, Strasbourg is the Christmas capital of France. The Christmas markets here are impressive. You're gonna come here and you're gonna enjoy the Christmas spirit. Even before Christmas season comes, you can get that Christmas spirit here because it is such a Christmas town. Now, I will tell you though, don't forget to book way early if you wanna stay here on a weekend during Christmas season, because everything books out. So you might stay like in Freiburg and take the trains to come here the hour and a half away to do that and stay here like for the day and then head out, because it does get super pricey. It gets super pricey actually during the Christmas season, especially on the weekends. And I guess that's another don't I should have for you is don't think coming to Strasbourg is going to be cheap. This is an expensive place to stay, okay? This is an expensive place to eat. It's an expensive place to go out. So you're going to be spending quite a bit of money when you're here, because you've got students, you've got the European Union people, you've got all the tourism that's here. So it really drives up the prices, and that gets really frustrating. Which also is another don't I have for you is don't wait to get accommodation any time of the year, because it is tough to find stuff because of the university, because of the European Union Parliament that's here, because of all the tourism in general, the hotels, the accommodation, the Airbnbs, all those things book up relatively quickly, and the affordable ones even faster. So make sure you do not wait. Like if you decide you're coming to France, you want to visit Strasbourg, book the hotel and then get your train tickets to come here, because you want to actually make sure you have a place to stay when you are here, because this city is fantastic to visit. Now, when you're here in Strasbourg, you can really go around on foot and see a lot of the sites that way, and it's really cool. But my don't for you is, don't worry if you don't want to walk. There are tons of bike lanes and bike things you can do here and ride around, or you can actually take a boat tour. I'm surprised the boat hasn't come by already, because there's boat tours that'll come by and give you a nice overview of the city. And honestly, that's the only way I really recommend to actually go see the European Union Parliament and stuff. Like, I have a don't for you. Don't waste your time going to the European Parliament. It's not worth it. Take the boat tour that goes out there, you visit it for like 5 minutes, then take off, because there's really nothing for a tourist to actually do when you do go to the European Parliament. So save your time, sit down at one of the bars or one of the cafes, have a piquant or a white wine, and enjoy that way more than dealing with going out to the European Parliament, okay? And my last don't for you is don't feel that you're too far away from other things aside from Strasbourg when you are here. Hour and a half, I can get to Nancy, another great, beautiful city here in France. I can go over to Germany and Freiburg in about an hour and a half. I can get down to Basel. I want to go see Mulhouse. I can do that here in France. 2 hours and 15 minutes to get to Paris. You have a lot of transportation options from here. Like, you get up to Luxembourg, you can go down to Marseille. You've got a lot of stuff here. We took a direct train from Bordeaux to here. You have a lot of great connections, but the thing is, there's a lot of great things to see right outside of Strasbourg as well. So you can use it as a base if you find that good accommodation and kind of go out from there, and vice versa. It could be a day trip from some of these other places nearby to come see here if you can't get that accommodation, okay? And my last don't for you is don't pass up your chance to meet some locals when you're here. I was filming earlier this morning. A local came up and started chatting with me. I got to meet him. I got to meet his son. I got to hear about the history of the city, what he does, all kinds of stuff. And we really had a great conversation all morning long. We had coffee. I mean, I had my chocolat because I don't drink coffee, but he had his. We just had a really great time. And I've come to Strasbourg a number of times, and the people have always impressed me with how open they are with all the people that come here. Because there's multiple cultures that are here kind of stirring around in Strasbourg. And so they're kind of like, look, we got multiple cultures here. Let's bring more in and let's get to know them, help them enjoy this great city. So don't forget your bonjour when you walk into a store or when you meet somebody, because the people here are really great. So I hope this helps you know a little bit more about what you don't do, or I guess it's more to do or don't skip out on doing when you do come here to Strasbourg. I've really loved it. That's why we come back quite often to visit this place, and I do recommend it for you as well. Anyway, I'm gonna go have some more German-esque French food or French-esque German food for my lunch today, and I wish you all the best. So don't pass up having either your Backelfe, you're gonna have some great Münster cheese, the hot Münster cheese when you're here, or have your sauerkraut when you're here with tons of sausages on it. You'll have a good time, a very filling experience here in Strasbourg. And the thing is, it's filling for here in your tummy, here in your heart, and here in your mind when you're here. So do enjoy it, and I'll say au revoir from here in Strasbourg.